Yo, what is up, my beautiful people? Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to another episode of Invest in Yahuah. I'm your host, Dollar Yahuah Yasharal, and we are gathered here today to look at some investments. So I'm pleased to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch. So really quickly, I want to do some technical analysis, some breakdown of charts of a particular stock that I've been talking about, and I just want to give an understanding that can be widely received, right, from all the people in the community, whether you know about technical analysis or not. I want you to be able to understand the power, the potential power, investment, and return of this investment, right? So I want to show you the technicals and why looking at technicals are important, right? So you guys give me a chance. I'm gonna share my screen and get to it. Let me share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Let me see. It says share screen rather. With two monitors. Give me 1 second, family. That's why I'm pre-recording this. I gotta get some bugs out. I'm trying to get to the stock screen. So give me a minute. Let me share my screen. The site will be able to see the screen. It's not letting me share, y'all. Oh Lord, it's trying me. Entire screen, even if I shut the entire screen, it's not letting me do it. I'm not sure why. So I got something to figure out all of a sudden. Okay, solo layout, picture in picture, shares. Testing it. 1, 2, 3. I'm back on stage. But I can't do what I want to do. I want to show y'all this chart. Just testing. Tell me if you can see it. Did y'all see what I'm looking at? I'm trying to show you what I'm looking at. But if I can't show you what I'm looking at, then this junk ain't got no value for me. Oh, hallelujah. 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 Okay. Now I'm finally sharing my screen. I guess all the part before this, when I was figuring it out, we can edit that out. So I want to talk about this stock, Cleanspark CLSK. And yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of technical analysis. We see it's recently broke out to about $15 from around $7 where it was a week ago. So this means the stock just doubled in a week. You would have put $1 million in here, you would have had 2 this week. You would have put 1,000 in there, you would have had 2 this week. You get the picture. You would have put $1, you would have had 2. And I think sometimes we kind of take that for granted. The power, capability of power of a double, in the stock market or whatever, but it's no joke, right? So I wanted to do this breakdown and this little analysis because I know some of my people are gonna feel like, I'm late or whatnot, and I just want to show, first of all, with perspective, this is a huge reversal we witnessing right now. We see that the stock was as high as $40 at one point. We see over here, this was the high, and this is how we draw these supply zones. This is a supply zone. We see that the stock came into this zone, and there was a lot of supply. People began to sell, heavy sell pressure, and it just proceeded to go down over a course of weeks, months, years, even. But a sell zone is a sell zone, and it's to be respected. But right now, we nowhere near that. What we want to take note of, it came into a buy zone down here, and it had to come pretty low to find it. But that's what happened with newer securities, and they really are just defining their range. So I want to point out a couple things. First of all, let me kind of make this a little bit more color coded, easier to see, recognize these boundaries. And this is important to do because as we continue this stock technical analysis series, as we continue to come back to this chart, we want to have these boundaries already like defined for us. We want to keep this these lines on the chart, the parameters we drawing tonight. We want to have them next time, right? So I'm gonna talk about some things, discuss some things, but I want this to be simple. So I want to color code some things. This is really the sell zone right here, but I'll make it a little bit wider. This is important. This is the first thing. See, first thing, and so we're doing technical analysis. We want to start out on the larger time frame, and that's all part of what we know in the industry phrase as multiple time frame analysis, which explains itself, analyzing multiple time frames. But obviously, or not so obviously, I guess, whatever. You want to start out with the larger time frame. Why? Because the larger time frame holds the most weight. It's more information recorded in each candlestick in a month chart than it is in a daily chart, right? So that's important. But we're not gonna get too much into technical analysis jargon. But we really want to point out we're starting on the higher time frame. We're looking at this stock from the monthly time frame analysis, and we see that to be at $15, $16 right now is not out of pocket at all because the stock was as high as $43, right? If we round it up, $40, $42. So I mean, from $16, 15, it's rounded up to 15, you would have to triple. It would triple its value just to get back to that same sell zone. So it may be a triple line in the weight. Now look how many months it took to go down. Who knows if it's going to take that many months to get there? But this just we setting our parameters. So that's the first thing. All right. So we were able to draw our support and resistance on the monthly time frame. So let's get a little bit fractured in nature, and we go down to the weekly, right? So now we can see a little bit more. We see how it was up here some weeks ago. This was just 2021, all 2022. So 2021 from 2020, it ran up to $40. All 2021, it was coming down. Okay, yeah. And 2022, it was like coming down too. And 2023, kind of sideways. This is kind of when I got into it because you had to be knowing about this stock to catch it in this time frame because it was, you don't even know. That's very tight. Demand zone, you definitely had to know what you were doing to catch it in the sub $2 range. But I got it in around 350. So around here, I was in this stock already. This time I was in this stock. So I don't have to draw a circle around the window. But anyway, I was already in the stock, and I've been knowing about the stock for a while. But the point of what we want to know is this is the reversal. This came down. Then we see reversal of the downtrend stock because that confirms this was a demand zone because demand began to take place. People start buying. Buy zone, demand zone, synonymous terms, right? So we see a rise up, higher high, a little bit lower low, retest this zone, and then boom, breaking out. And the point is that it went from what $3, $2, $3 to as high as $6, $7, right? And then it came back and retested this zone. So we want to tighten up a little bit, coming to the more recent time frame, right? So you see the red bars are kind of getting out of the zone. So we want to draw some weekly demand zone, right? So this kind of was a demand zone. We see it took off from here, right around 350. That's what I was saying, because I remember this zone. I saw it, and we're gonna change the color so we know our weekly colors, the time, the buy and sell zones on the weekly time frame versus the monthly time frame, and then we're gonna get into the daily time frame right here. So we draw another demand zone because price here, it respects this zone. Really, we drawing this most recent demand was right here. You know, this was like this red candle. The last red candle before it took off was, you know, open here and it went as low as here, right? No, matter of fact, it opened. Yeah, it opened here and it closed here. But we want to get the open and the low, right? So it's 4 pieces of data in each time, each candlestick. It's 4 pieces of data: the open, the close, the high, and the low. But when we drawing our supply and demand zone, we're gonna just get the 2 most relevant pieces of data, which is for the demand zone, the open and the low, and for the buy zone, which, as we see, we breaking out right now. It's breaking out. So we drawing this like right now. But the buy zone, we want to get the high and the open. So right now we in a basically relatively new zone. But what I wanted to show is to see where we going next. We actually have to go back, because right now we kind of in no man's land. We're gonna get into the daily and break it down a little bit more. But if we go back on the weekly, we could get some idea of how high the stock can go. And this is what I had drawn in my other chart that I wanted to direct our attention to as far as the weekly, because we see before it dropped severely, right? Before this precipitous drop right here, very sharp decline, we had this intermediate zone right here that price came into right before it dropped. So that's important, because we see price is starting, since it reversed here, we still starting to go back to and retest these previous zones. So for instance, price stopped here, came up, you know, bounced, and then it came and broke down through this level. So this was, it was a floor and it became a ceiling, right? So, you know, ate through this level and then it became my retest and went down more. So it became a ceiling. You see on the way back up, this was a ceiling. It became a ceiling and then it broke through the ceiling, ate through that, all those sell orders, and then it broke through again and came back, retested that ceiling, became a floor here. So these levels are important to go back and look at. So when we got to start that breaking out, I'm going to show you how it broke out when we get to the daily. And this is very kind of easy analysis. This is more of a how could they say, like an idealistic scenario, because we kind of already know what happened, and again, already giving you guys hindsight that I was in this stock already, kind of watching it already, and that kind of helped us have more predictive analysis, so to speak. So, but the point is, we see this previous high right here. So this is interesting because we know on the way back up, we're going to run back into the same level. So this is a potential zone where we might want to, if we've been in it from down here or here, or whatever, when we get back up in here, we know we might want to start taking some profit. We might want to move our stop losses up on the intermediate time frame. You see the weekly is more refined than the monthly chart. We got different levels, right? So with this one, I just want to point out is like the last untapped supply zone. We could have went to this one, but it got broke already. You see it ran into it, came back, regrouped, and now it just bust through it. So this is the level we breaking out from right here. And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna put some lines here in a minute, but I just want to touch on and really highlight on the weekly that this is the intermediate buy zone, and this is right now the intermediate sell zone that we have our eyes on. So if we refine our chart a little bit more and we go to the daily, right? And that's important. With these time frames right here, very important. We can see these levels right here. We see our intermediate time frame on the weekly, how that looks on the daily time frame. All the time is spent in this zone, right? You see, yeah, you can say it was in this zone a long time, but that's why I was on the weekly chart. And also, you see it didn't go any lower though. So it is a zone for a reason, but we call it a buy zone again. It stood firm here and it retested here and then it took off. So that's why it's a buy zone and it's still a buy zone. So going back a little bit, we will see this was in the previous zone, like it fell from that we saw on the weekly, right? This high right here, this peak of the iceberg. So for the daily, we're gonna go with the green because it's the more fractal time frame. It's the one we're getting smaller and more refined. So we see this was a zone right here, right? It came up into this zone, and from this zone, this was a sell zone. Boom, it went down, and it went through some other zones, right? But on the way back up, just like this zone had to be recognized, it was recognized here, right? It came through, it respected, it came back, regrouped, and then it broke through this one. So now we back at this one. We were, right? Just a couple weeks ago when I was really started watching this stock again, when I saw it come up here, up into this $13 range. You see it spun some time here, and it broke down. It got rejected sharply, right? So after that rejection, what we see, regrouping, you know, it had just gapped up. So what we did is, what is actually common with stocks that go on the run, they sometimes they gap up, which is a good sign of a trend, a forward momentum. But when it gets to the next higher zone, sometimes it come back and retest or fills this gap. So this is actually a very healthy thing. So it filled this gap. All the trap orders or whatever that were in here, you know, all that stuff got time to get flushed out the system, right? You see this where it stalled at was a perfect fill of the gap, which is great. And you see what happened is this zone right here, which is last sell zone. It was a sell zone, and it was a place where we had, you know, sell orders trapped in here. So when we got up here, when the price rose up here, all these old sell orders triggered and it rejected the price sharply. But it regrouped and came back up. And now what happened is what we do, we gapped up again, which is very good sign for a bull market, right? Very good sign. And we got over this level, and now we just cleared this level. So for all intents and purposes, it's like the stock just reset. It's back to zero. Because if we trust the technical analysis and we understand anything, we can see that the stock is not coming back now. And once it just got over this level, it's not gonna just immediately come back down right here like that. So this is what we know. And this is what we know. This is what technical analysis tells us, the candlestick patterns, etc., etc. And that is why we trade. And that's why we do technical analysis, because it puts the probability and the odds in our favor. So we see this intermediate sell zone on the weekly chart, right? And now we get to the daily, we see the refined nature of the moves on the chart, right? So that's one thing. And then we see the chart. Ooh, 1 second. Wait. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, naked. Close the door for me. So shit. Sit right there. Sit right there. Get you right now. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up shortly. I just want to, and this chart is actually live. The stock is still moving right now. But what I want to say is, we on the daily, we on the refined chart, the refined time frame right now, and price gapped up, and we see we just cleared what was a level of resistance has now become a level of support. So if anything, we're gonna go up. We may retest this at a later point, but right now the forward momentum is up. So it eliminates any risk. That's basically what I want to point out. So we shouldn't have to worry about, well, what if I buy here at 15 and it comes back down to 7? We could be confident putting the stop loss right here. If it's at 16, you could be confident putting the stop loss 13.50, 30. I would even say 12, just to give it a little bit enough room and make sure you don't get stopped out. But you can limit. We can basically effectively secure our limit. We can effectively gauge our risk, by doing technical analysis. We know if the stock come back down anywhere here in the near term, then something wrong is broken. It's going to reverse. It has reversed, and we should just reassess what we're doing. But if we expect to continue going up after it's just cleared this previous level of resistance. This is now support. So we can put a stop loss anywhere under here because we are assured that pretty much price won't come back down anywhere under here. And we can pretty much ride the wave up. So I really wanted to just highlight that for a minute. And since we're here, we could refine the nature a little bit more because, again, it's an active chart. And we can see, like, since the gap, it's not much information to go off of. We can go back to the weekly or the monthly and look back further, right, to get a gauge of what previous level we might be running into right now. But as of now, this is our risk is defined right here by this level right here. We could put a stop loss anywhere under here, but we don't expect the price to return back to this level right now. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to highlight that, do a little bit of technical analysis just so we see that we've done our homework. And it gives us the confidence we need to put on. That's why we do technical analysis, again, to put the odds in our favor. So I want to go back. $22, $23. That's what I'm looking at. We already broke out. Let me put the indicator. I want to put Bollinger Band. This helps us see something. So yeah, I just want to show on the monthly. We see again. We can go back from the beginning. You see this stock been around 2014, something like that, but it's started to find its way as far as this pattern is making, et cetera, the consolidation. What I want to point out is that we see it going in this range of in the Bollinger Band from the lower depths of the Bollinger Band to the tops of the Bollinger Band, right? Up and down, so to speak. But there was this period for the last couple of years of condensation where the price action was condensing, right? We see here there was some large spikes and it was like wildly jumping, but here it was like very consolidation happening right now. A lot of consolidated price action happening, right? And it got so consolidated to where it's been squeezed. So now it's going to burst out. And so we should be expecting this burst to continue to the upside. So it's like the ceiling has been removed, so to speak. So it's just something we got to continue to watch diligently, right? But what I want to point out is just the next couple levels we can expect price to go to and before it stops and reverses or has any resistance. First level is $20 to $23. That's the first level. Intermediate, we see on the weekly chart right here, we should expect some resistance right here where it may have to consolidate a little bit and retest right before it breaks through this level. Once it breaks through this level, this previous like high right here from a couple years ago, we see on the monthly chart, it went as high as $42. So that's what I'm saying. When we look at it at 16, we can't really say it's expensive or feel like it's expensive when we put it into perspective, the stock has been as high as $44, $45, something like that in that range, right? So that gives us an idea of where it's headed next, right? And then if we go back even further, I got to take a horizontal line and really draw it on this chart. We see that the stock has been as high as $150. So when it touched $150, like this price, it didn't close there in this particular month, but it went as high as $150. So what that tells us is this is not new territory. So we shouldn't be, it's really nothing to fear. The stock has already stretched out those bounds of the price action of this particular security. So it's not like it wouldn't be an all-time high if it went to $100. it's been at that high before. So that kind of helps us put things in perspective. And that's kind of what I want to do, because when you look at it on the daily, it's like, hey, it's breaking out into no man's land. But when you zoom out to the higher perspective, like we're looking at here on the monthly chart, we can see that the stock has been as high as, again, $150. So at $16 right now, and we looking at the price action, the volume is showing us it's breaking out. We see that the Bollinger Bands, which Bollinger Bands just represent like the formula of predicted price action based on the previous price, right? And so this is how high it's gonna go, how low it's gonna go. A standard, it's a deviation from a standard mean, right? And that's what this all is. Like prices here now, standard mean deviation up with limited somewhere around here, standard mean deviation down, we'll put it somewhere right here. And this standard mean deviation was consolidating, like squeezing the price. So now it's kind of busting now. And sometimes we see what top of the Bollinger Band up. So it's a breakout, family. It's a breakout. It's what we call a breakout. And we see it breaking out. And I just want to go back and look back, do some technical analysis so we can see the bounds of the stock, previous history, previous price action of the security can give us an idea of where it's headed next. So that's what I want to share with you guys. Again, as we see the healthy price action, the stock breaking out from a demand zone, again, right in the bounds of the upward Bollinger Band for a couple bars, right? For a couple time periods. In this case, a couple weeks, about 3 bars, they rolled the Bollinger Band up, 3, 4. And then what we see, a reversion to the mean. But it was just a consolidation, right? This was it making from here, right? Well, we see a higher high in this area, and then it made a higher low. So now we have a confirmed uptrend. And so from this higher low, what did it do? Make a higher high. So we're going to expect, it just made a higher low. This was a month ago. This was last 3 weeks ago, because I was in on it. Saw it reverse. This was 2 weeks ago. Because this was last week, it just closed. This just happened last month, right? So it just made a higher low. So we're going to expect a couple more candles of it going up. And then, because it's breaking out right now, it just passed this previous high. Now it's going to make a higher high, and then ultimately probably make a higher low somewhere here. And the trend will continue. So that's what we're expecting. And the price action is confirming that in the technical analysis. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me, for watching, for giving your attention. And I hope this made sense. This is why we got our charts, our lines drawn. We see the higher time frame buy zone, the intermediate time frame buy zone, and this was the short time frame resistance, but it's been broken. So at this point, we are continuing to monitor this and see how high it will go. So yeah, appreciate you guys. With that, you turn the table? Yeah, I did. Turn it up, please. Yeah, so appreciate you guys for checking in, stopping in, checking in. If anything else you guys want me to talk about, cover, go over, let me know. I just wanted to really talk about this because it's time sensitive, and it's happening right now. This is actually it's moving as we speak. The market is open in the United States right now. So yeah, the stock market is open. You guys feel free to jump in or wait for a pullback, and I'm gonna continue giving you guys updates like this. Anything else you guys want to know, be sure to holler at me. Let me know. Drop a comment. See you guys in the next one. Shalom, shalom. Talk to you soon. Peace.